Close your eyes to the madness. In the morning it's all gonna vanish. Don't be afraid of the dark. Be careful with stars. Not every light is gonna guide you.
All right, welcome back. It has been a minute. So this is Wandering Sarah. So Wandering Sarah, as well as Not Afraid of the Dark podcast. But I have the pleasure of having the Venture Vixens with me. And so you may or may not know who the Venture Vixens are. If you don't, you are missing out. And you can add them to your repertoire of content that you consume because it's wholesome, goodsome content. And I'm going to coin that, goodsome.
Goodsome, I like goodsome.
Yep, it is wholesome.
We're
and
always
goodsome.
eating.
Yeah, we got the food, the best food, and something that I'm sure we'll talk about later that has been invented and will be coined, the hubcap pizza. So, Venture Vixens, please tell my listeners and my followers and subscribers who you are, your synopsis of who you are and how you got here, as well as your rig.
You want to start? Okay. I just want to make sure I didn't interrupt, you know? Oh, that's a good idea. I'm Olivia.
I'm Angelica.
And we live in this bus. It's a 1998 Ford E450. It's got about 112,000 miles on it now. We got it with 107. So we've been doing some moving. And we're just two people that live in a bus. There were two people that live in a bus and like to travel, and definitely wanted to build a way to travel. If that makes sense. So, and that's how Venture Vixens came to be. We were like, all right, well, we got to do something. You know, we can't just sit in front of the camera all day. So we decided to do something that would interact with a community of people and allow us to travel at the same time. And that's us.
Awesome.
That's what we do.
And that's how I found you.
Internet, crazy place.
Yep.
It's a crazy place.
Absolutely.
Sorry about the smoke. Maybe I shouldn't have started the fire.
Or maybe we...
Like 5 minutes before this, I was like, hey, will the fire mess up the podcast? She's like, no, go for it. I'm like, all right. Now we got smoke billowing. It's
just right into me.
You want my sunglasses?
It's like we should have sat on the other side of the fire.
We should have. You want to move it?
Maybe.
You know, the second we move it, you know, the second we move it, it's going to go the other way.
Absolutely. Okay. So now that we're out of the smoke.
Out of the smoke.
We changed the background. The
Yes.
beautiful background.
Sunset.
Yep, sunset background. And so we are in
And
our element. And we moved the mic. So we're currently boondocking off grid for anybody that doesn't know what that means. So no hookups, no facilities, no nothing. And this is how kind of you guys are wanting to be, like striving to be this rather than self, right?
Yeah.
Or kind of a fair mixture of both.
Yeah, because you want to be in the city, right? Like there's times when you want to be in the city and you want to do shit.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So I'd say a blend of both, but you want to be comfortable while you're out here.
Yeah.
At least for us. It's different, I think, when you're one person, but I think when you're two people, I think having the space is beneficial, but I think it can definitely be done in an SUV or car environment.
Yeah, and that prompts. So how did this start? How did you guys get here?
Okay, so my father had passed away from COVID. That kind of hit kind of hard. And then our dog had passed away, and that kind of hit kind of hard too. And, you know, we were working our asses off and paying bills, and it was never enough. We're the same vicious cycle I'm sure so many people are in right now, right? Yeah. The grind, exactly. And I just kind of had this realization that not like, oh, psh, but, you know, we're going to die. We're going to, the inevitable, right? Like we are here for a very limited time. And, you know, I think some of what happened, some of the loss that we experienced help kind of push those feelings forward of saying, hey, you know what? You have one shot here. You got one shot to go do what you want, make something happen. And all the people out there that are going to judge you or not support you for whatever reason, or, just can't mind can't mind their own business.
Yeah.
You don't have to support, but you can move it along. You can move it along.
The unsolicited advice.
Yes.
And, but that's how you got here, is that you decided that was the driving factor.
That was it. We were. I didn't. I wanted. I was done. I had things I wanted to pursue, like Venture Vixens, and I wanted to pursue those things. So, we sold everything. We sold everything we could possibly sell. We sold our TVs. We sold our vacuum. We sold our beds. Christmas tree. Yes, it was right before Christmas. And then we even practiced living in our car for 2 weeks. And then
we actually moved out of the condo.
Yep, we went around from different apartment complexes to make sure, we would.
Knew how to stealth.
Yeah, basically that we knew how to stealth in the car. We went and got these black cardboard papers. We still use cardboard paper today on the bus because we're so comfortable with it.
Well, we started off cutting out using cardboard.
Did we? Like actual cardboard?
Cardboard, and then I cut out perfectly for the windows, and then I used fabric to like glue it around and
That's
cover
right.
the windows.
That's right.
And then every night, there's like little holes that you could see light come through, and I was so paranoid that somebody would like try to peek through, so I'd like be there every night with pieces of blue tape covering it up.
The painter's tape?
Yes. Yes.
Yep.
Yeah, that's ultimately that's how we got here. That's and then we just kept pursuing more and more. I mean, I guess there's a little more to it than that. You want a little more to it than that?
Absolutely.
So one thing a lot of people don't know is that when we took off on the journey, we sold everything we had. We had about probably just above $3,000. I think maybe like $3,100 after we sold everything. And then we moved into the car, and one thing that we did to sustain ourselves is we delivered food and groceries and things like that. But we didn't want that to be. We never shared that with anybody. This is probably the first time, other than a few drops in social or on our TikTok where we've said it, but. We never really shared that along the way because we didn't want that. There were a lot of people out there door dashing, and they're like, oh, well, I door dash and travel. And we didn't want that to be our story. We didn't want that to be. We didn't want
the definer.
Yeah, we didn't want anything with food delivery or third-party brands to have anything to do with Venture Vixens. We wanted Venture Vixens to be a brand about traveling and adventuring and taking risks and taking chances and getting the most out of life. But yeah, that's we did that for a while, and then what happened basically is it wasn't a sustainable way of supporting yourself, at least in our experience. We would wait a long time to get anything that was of value for a delivery. And so it got to the point where we were like, okay, well, we have this ability to do our content creation. The website was pretty much almost done. I mean, it's always a work in progress, but, and I was like, I don't want to do this anymore. And I told her, and we sat there, and I was like, I don't want to do this anymore. I would rather pour every bit of energy I have into Venture Vixens and traveling and hanging out with our community on a regular basis than spend another moment fishing for some third-party company that was doing nothing for me. I mean, it was good for a moment in time, and it sustained us for a moment in time. But it reaches a point where you're like, I'm not going to do that. I'm doing the same shit I was doing on the grind. I'm still here fucking grinding, and I'm miserable.
Yeah.
So
just the view looks different when you open the door.
yeah. So I'd rather.
We would sit out in the parking lot for like 4 or 5 hours just for a good order.
Yeah.
It's like a $10 to go like 2 miles. And
Yeah.
I remember that day because we were in the parking lot of that plaza area by that Starbucks and all those places.
Yeah,
Pastinos. And yeah, we were just done.
We're done. you reach a point where you're like, it's like I said, you're doing the same grind. You're doing the same grind, but you're doing it in a different place. So you're still spinning your wheels. You just don't realize it because you're spinning your wheels at a new place. And I was like, nope, I'm done spinning my wheels. If I'm going to spin my wheels, I'll spin my wheels doing this. And that's it. And we just kept going.
Yeah.
Now we're here with you.
And here we are. And like, I think knowing you, meeting you, and knowing you prior through your social media presence, through your TikTok, I've come to realize how complementary you guys are to each other, where even the conversations that we've had about something as simple as what's expired and, you know, the things that you're going to keep and you're willing to eat, right?
Yeah.
You guys balance out so well. So going into this lifestyle and because this is a huge leap for a lot of people that they don't even realize is possible, feasible, anything, right? It's just what they see on a screen somewhere.
Right.
Going into it, I would think that the fear, the unknown, that those things balanced out. Like what, Angelica, what was your apprehension? Like what was your biggest fear of doing this?
Oh goodness, I would probably say like, if we're gonna make it, that was my biggest fear. Are we gonna make it? Like because we're doing the DoorDash and all that stuff, like the pressure of trying to pay your bills.
Yeah.
And then also getting caught. Of like being parked somewhere.
Yeah.
That was my biggest other fear too, but that was mostly.
And what was your solution? Like what? Because I know as soon as if she was ever to say that you've immediately got, let me tell you why it's going to work.
Actually I had to turn it off. There comes a point where you can't feel for somebody else. I mean, I would try and make her reassure her that everything was going to be okay. But until everything was okay, there's nothing I can do. There's no convincing. But that's also one of those things that me as her partner, I have to live with. I have lived with. I bury that and I'm like, all right, well, I know how she's feeling and that's okay. But what can I do? I mean, you're starting. Man, we're getting deep. I love this. I'm having fun. You're starting a brand, and you're trying to do something from an entrepreneur's perspective. That is so difficult. But it is if you're passionate about it, the difficulty becomes drive and passion, and says, "Well, this isn't difficult. I'm learning. I'm learning how to do something totally different." But that has always been my passion, not for entrepreneurship has been my passion. Right. So just to have the support and know that even with all the fear, she's like, nah, I'm on board. We're going, we're doing this. You got this. She's incredible. She's incredible.
Ultimately, I mean, if you had said, I can't do this, I'm afraid, and I can't do this, would you have not?
Me?
Yeah. Would you have continued to be in the sticks and bricks and figured out a new ground?
Oh, like if she was like, no, I can't move into a vehicle?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's where we'd probably be now, but I don't know because that's not the reality which we chose. Yeah. This is, you know, it's funny that you say fear, because where she had fear, I never had fear. So I kind of went through this whole, spiritual energy type awakening, if you will. And I realized that there was nothing to be fearful of. I was fearful of death. So before all of this, I was fearful of death. I was like, why? I was mad. I've said this, there's a video, but it's lost on my phone. That's forever gone. But I was mad. I was angry. Why do we live? Why do we exist if we're just going to die? And I was mad. And of course I'm grieving my father at the time and things like that. But I was angry. I was such an angry person. And it flipped. I had this awakening that there's nothing to fear. We're here for the experiences. We're here to give it our all, to take the risk, take the chance to go try something. And the worst that happens is like you give up. Like, you don't fail. You only fail after you give up. After you stop trying, then of course you failed. And that's okay, because who cares? Who cares?
Right.
You know, you had a wonderful experience, or at least you had some kind of experience, and hopefully you interpreted it as a wonderful experience. So I never really, I learned, I went through my little awakening, and I learned that there was nothing to fear. This is all just an experience. This is all some kind of this right here, right?
Yeah.
And it really calmed my mind, because I used to spin a lot, and I still do. I still think about a lot of things, but the how I think about it and how I put it is totally different. I used to be very critical, and now I'm it's a lot more creative, if that makes sense.
Do you guys feel like this lifestyle and making this shift has made it easier for you to find your happy and to quiet your mind and to just be?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Oh.
I say that because, like, working from, 9-to-5 job most of my life, and trying, like, little things, trying to save money just to go do something
Right.
was a hassle.
Yeah. Yeah. Because we're all just living to work or work to live.
Yeah.
And it's all like a passion project, I think, for all of us that are traveling like this anymore.
Yeah.
We're loving the work that we put in, right?
Yes.
At this point,
Yeah.
where it's a totally different scenario.
It becomes worth it once you put in the work. And I think that's where, and I mean, we've talked about this off camera. I think that's where a disconnect with some people that put themselves on the internet don't realize. Some people think that you're going to get on the internet and it's just going to happen. It's been, it took us a year before we even had any traction, even had the ability to go live, and then everything happened so fast in probably the past 8 months that once you put in the work. And I think that's where, and I mean, we've talked about this off camera. I think that's where a disconnect with some people that put themselves on the internet don't, that once you put in the work. And I think that's where, and I mean, we've talked about this off camera. I think that's where a disconnect with some people that put themselves on the internet don't realize. Some people think that you're going to get on the internet and it's just going to happen. It's been, it took us a year before we even had any traction, even had the ability to go live, and then everything happened so fast in probably the past 8 months.
But there was months and months and hours of work prior to that. Yeah.
There was tears, breakdowns, and stuff like that. That there was the parts of the human, the meat sack, the emotions and all that. But there was that part where you just go, okay, well,
Like,
I
you
get
just
to
keep going. It's crazy.
Is it worth it?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I think for everybody it should be worth it, right? Like, if you're not pursuing what you're passionate about and going after it with like everything you got daily, I'm not saying you don't have days where you're like, shit, I don't want to do shit, and I don't want, but I just mean, like, if you're not happy where you're going every single day, you need to change that.
Yeah.
Like, you need to change that. And I know for some it's easier said than done, but what if it's not? Like, what if it is as easy as going, you know what? I'm done with this job. I'm done whatever this is. Like, I think we put a lot of responsibilities on ourselves that aren't our responsibilities. But overall, we're put in a position where we feel like those responsibilities are ours, but they're not. I think there's a lot of things that you can step away from in an instant. You just have to choose to step away from them. And some people won't. Some people won't because of emotional attachments. Some people won't because of financial burdens. But if you can get past that, if you can realize that financial burdens are just exactly that, they're burdens, you can choose to step away from that, right? Is it going to be the right societal thing to do? Maybe not. But is it going to be what's right for you and your one life and your one existence? Sure. Overall, we're put in a position where we feel like those responsibilities are ours, but they're not. I think there's a lot of things that you can step away from in an instant. You just have to choose to step away from them. And some people won't. Some people won't because of emotional attachments. Some people won't because of financial burdens. But if you can get past that, if you can realize that financial burdens are just exactly that, they're burdens, you can choose to step away from that, right? Is it going to be the right societal thing to do? Maybe not. But is it going to be what's right for you and your one life and your one existence? Sure. Who do you owe? Nobody. I mean, I think people should be doing what's best for themselves.
Right.
You don't have to be malicious about it, but you should be kind to yourself enough to walk away from everybody and everything.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's a big thing. A lot of people are kinder to strangers and their friends or acquaintances than they are to themselves.
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah. Yeah. What do you think is your end game? Like, what is the ultimate goal in mobile living, or like, what do you see in the long run? What does Venture Vixens look like in the ideal?
Venture Vixens in the long run is a little bit different than the picture for like me and Angelica individually, because I do like to create a disconnect between us and the brand.
Yeah.
Because we're just people, Yeah. The brand, what I see is, I see other creators and our following as well as their following in group scenarios.
Collaboration.
Not collaborations, yes, but like giving people the opportunity to go out and travel, getting people the opportunity to say, hey, get in your car and go. That's what I see. Yeah, exactly.
Like behind the camera
exactly.
right now, we have two of that, and myself included, in being a follower.
Yeah.
And here we are.
Yeah.
Podcasting. It's awesome.
And we met up and we put this all together on a whim, where it was like, we've got the days and we've got the time and we can work remote and
But I picture like group events. So like we wanted to do a cruise in January, but we had to put the brakes on that, and we're going to move that to the following January. But I picture stuff where we invite other creators to join us for the cruise, and then we invite people that want to book the cruise from our followings to book the cruise. And I imagine scenarios like that, not all the time, because I need my privacy. I think it's part why a lot of people choose this life. But I see events where we're encouraging people to get out of their comfort zone or travel, or showing people other affordable ways to travel and do events, even if it's not with us. But that's what I picture for Venture Vixens. I picture a little bit of caravanning, but not too much, because again, it's hard for me to use up all my social battery. But like, we're doing the Pismo Beach Party in October, and that's gonna be a blast. We were there last October. It was so much fun in the SUV, and this year we've decided to, with all our growth, we've decided to let people know where we're going to be and when we're going to be there, and they are welcome to come out and hang out with us, and we can all hang out and have a good time for October, or for those few days that we're out there. But that'll be a good time.
heck yeah. So let's say just from January till now to current. A pit and a peak. So your high and a low that you can remember, like where you were just absolutely euphoric. This is the best. This was the best decision ever.
Yeah.
And then a low where it was like, what are we doing?
And from January, I wish we had said December.
Okay,
Go December.
We can go December because we're only 6 months in, 7 months in. Yeah, go for
I
it.
mean, mine would probably be, going to New York. That was like my childhood, dream, is to go to New York after watching Home Alone.
Overall, we're put in a position where we feel like those responsibilities. We're put in a position where we feel like those responsibilities are ours, but they're not. I think there's a lot of things that you can step away from in an instant. You just have to choose to step away from them. And some people won't. Some people won't because of emotional attachments. Some people won't because of financial burdens. But if you can get past that, if you can realize that financial burdens are just exactly that, they're burdens. You can choose to step away from that, right? Is it going to be the right societal thing to do? Maybe not. But is it going to be what's right for you and your one life and your one existence? Sure. Who do you owe? Nobody. I mean, I think people should be doing what's best for themselves.
Right.
You don't have to be malicious about it, but you should be kind to yourself enough to walk away from everybody and everything.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's a big thing. A lot of people are kinder to strangers and their friends or acquaintances than they are to themselves.
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah. What do you think is your end game? Like, what is the ultimate goal in mobile living, or like, what do you see in the long run? What does Venture Vixens look like in the ideal?
Venture Vixens in the long run is a little bit different than. You want to say on 3?
Yeah.
Okay.
1, 2, 3. Pismo Beach.
Love it.
Yeah.
And why?
I can't say yet. It's
Okay.
not time yet.
Okay.
It's not time yet, but it will be time soon.
All right. I accept that. That's fair. And where can everybody find you? Your socials, your sites, all the things. Where can everybody find you?
TikTok at Venture Vixens Insider and at Venture Vixens.
And your website?
VentureVixens.com.
And your Instagram?
Venture.Vixens.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Not a lot on IG yet.
Okay. And potentially YouTube?
YouTube at Venture Vixens.
Okay.
Yeah, we
It's already
we
there?
got that one early.
All right. Perfect.
Got that one early.
All right. But I do think that we're going to have plenty more meetups and adventures.
Oh yeah.
So,
Oh yeah.
lot
I
more to
definitely
come.
see that coming in the future. I definitely seen that. What do you think about
Oh,
Alaska?
yeah. Campfire pizza.
Oh yeah, campfire pizza.
Yes.
Officially campfire pizza, no hubcap pizza.
Yeah. Although you definitely need to coin that and the hubcap pizza.
Put it on a t-shirt.
Yeah. Something. Home of the Chrome.
There you go.
You want to know more about Hubcap Pizza and all of the amazing cooking, then you have to go to their TikTok, catch them live. They definitely are putting in the work over there. Their content is amazing, and I appreciate
Thanks.
you guys sitting
Thanks.
and hanging out.
I appreciate you doing this. This is
Yeah.
fun.
Thank you.
It was fun.
This was fun. We're gonna have hot dogs here in a minute.
Yep. All right. Thank you guys. Appreciate you if you made it this long. Just remember, we're going to keep at it, and we're going to keep doing, and we're going to have all of the amazing links and everything in the bottom of the YouTube, as well as links to all of their socials to make sure that you guys can support them and all of their adventures.
And we appreciate it. We appreciate all the support.
Awesome. Thank you guys.
Bye guys.
Bye.
Bye.